Please welcome Marko to the stage.
Thanks, Omar. You actually did pretty well with my last name. It's Iljadica. I wasn't actually going to say it because it's one of those ones where you have to clear your throat, prepare, and then deliver. But thanks, Omar. Like Omar said, I'm from the Youth Food Movement, and he's given us a bit of an update on what we do. But I wanted to today share with you my food story, and it's just that perfect time. The weather's good outside. It's Friday. We've all been through a big week. We're being fed like you wouldn't believe, and you can just see everyone nomming away here. We've got amazing coffee, and we get to talk about food. So, you know, this is like the sweet spot. I grew up on the northern beaches of Sydney, which is kind of like this really eclectic, surfy. I don't know what it is now. That's where I grew up. But I was born in Croatia, and I came out when I was 4 years old. And mum and dad had 3 kids under the age of 10, 4 suitcases, and growing up on a farm/factory estate, it was pretty interesting. The most interesting thing was lunches at school. My first day at school, my prosciutto and parmesan didn't go very well with the Devon and tomato sauce kids. So I was quite lucky because I didn't actually understand a lot of the teasing because I didn't actually speak a word of English. So, you know, I would have given anything to have Devon and tomato sauce just to fit in. But, you know, mum and dad made those food choices for us, and that was normal to us. It wasn't gourmet in any way, prosciutto and parmesan and goat's cheese, it was normal. You know, the Devon and tomato kids, 15 years later, they'd add, you know, walnuts and rocket, they'd bloody call it MasterChef. But, you know, that was normal living for us. They were just the decisions that, the food choices that my parents made for us. And that was the same kind of food choices that my grandpa made. He's one of those guys, he built giant ships, like welding iron, this and that, working 14-hour shifts. But at the same time, he's got fig trees, he's got vineyards, he's got his own prosciutto, he makes jam, and he's got his like seasonal preserves. Because in Croatia, you have to eat seasonally. There's no option to eat any other way. I went to Croatia this year, and this massive supermarket complex opened up. And I thought to myself, oh crap, but don't worry, the people know what the good food is, you know. They know where it's at, it's still at the local markets. But lo and behold, you see all these people, they're just like bleary-eyed towards the supermarkets. And you're talking about, you know, generations of my family who've been producing their own food. They've now seen a lot of German supermarkets that have opened up there, like Aldi and Spar. And they're just kind of leaving just leaving a lot of the markets behind them, which is really sad. And now I'm coming there going, thinking, guys, I'm from the future. Don't go towards the light. Like, it's really bad, you know. Go back to the markets. Go back to where it's real. And so mum and dad made those really good food choices for us. And now I got to a point where I get to make my own food choices. And, you know, it's not very easy. I've got to be honest. Like, living in the inner city, everything's on hand. And everything that's on hand is just there to make it a lot easier for myself. But the one thing I thought about is, okay, I'm not always going to eat what I want to, but with food I can make a decision 3 times a day on what kind of food system I want to live and the kind of food system that I want to create. So if I want to create one that's good, clean, fair, that's honest, that supports a local community, and this will vary for each and every one of you on what you see as your food system and your food choices. If I want to do that, I have to vote 3 times a day on the kind of food I want to eat. It doesn't have to be a hell of a lot bigger. The great thing is I don't need to convince people to go and, you know, sign a petition or get them focused on other causes. You know, food is our cause. We have to eat. We have to make a decision. It's not an option to not make a decision on the kind of food system that we want to have. So every time we eat, I encourage you guys to think about the choices you make. I usually rate myself out of 3 every day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I just say to myself, okay, what elements did breakfast, lunch, and dinner follow in terms of my food choices? So, with making my own food choices, I met this amazing group of people called the Youth Food Movement. And they were people just like me, incredibly diverse, talented people, a lot of them who are here today who will share with you their stories. I caught up with them and found this community that not only focused on food policy, food security, farming in Australia, but a huge sense of community that is built around food, as food as being the lifeblood and the connector of, you know, our relationships. So we've been together we've been together, it sounds so romantic, doesn't it? Youth Food Movement and I have been together for 3 years now, and we love each other, and they're great. So we've actually got a ride-on lunch that we're doing tomorrow for the 3rd year in a row. We grab a bunch of people, we put them on their bikes, and we take them around the streets of Sydney, seeing what local people are doing in terms of composting, veggies, beekeepers in the inner city that you probably never even met or heard about. And we take people through and show other people, and also for ourselves, that there is a food community in the inner city that's thriving, that does support good, clean, fair and honest food. So that's all I wanted to leave you guys with today. Yeah, have a look at us, YFM. And we've also got a Possible campaign at the moment, which we're ramping up to do the ride on lunch and a lot more. So if you want to check that out, we'd really appreciate some support there. But apart from that, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your morning.